Today we are looking at Dr. Shrinkray by KenJethro43 on Reddit and on Scratch. Looks like over here you choose an upgrade to begin the game, and I think I would probably do this a tiny bit differently by suggesting you're choosing a mode. There's some informative buttons over here for more information, and let's go ahead and start the game. The way that movement works in this game is that you have to click on empty spots to move, and you click on enemies to shoot at them, kind of like in MOBA games like League of Legends. And the enemies look like they don't absorb the bullets, but we got some kind of penetrating damage, and the enemies take damage at a consistent rate. Movement is pretty smooth. I notice here that the enemies only come from the four corners, and it might be possible to randomize it a bit more so that it can be a little less predictable. And so far, the enemies don't do a whole lot of damage. Here's me with the spider on my face, and I've only taken like 12 damage. I like how the enemies are always pointing at you and they're tracking down, but it also makes them easy to kite. But that's a good mechanic to have in a survival shooting game. If you take a second to take a look at the variables on the top right and left, as well as the bottom left, you'll see that KenJethro is also managing his variables or displaying them in a similar technique, just using the variable hide show function from the default program. So far so good, everything works fine, but I think I would like to try some other methods. I didn't see any way to go back to the title screen, so I just stopped and then started again. I think I'm going to try this stats up thing, and right off the bat it's not immediately clear to me what the stats up did, except that I have more health. There's also some kind of cooldown mechanic, and I haven't quite figured that out yet. Time to try out the spread gun. Oh, that's a pretty nice effect. Reminds me of that spread gun from Contra. I've actually kind of been wondering about how to make that effect. I think I'm going to look the code and copy this part. So the spread gun makes it so that we don't have to worry about aim, but the other gun makes it so we can do more damage. I like the spread gun for probably when you get to later levels. I think I would maybe consider adding a mechanic so that you can switch between guns in this game. The spiders have an interesting mechanic of spawning some kind of leftover thing that you have to shoot and get rid of, and it'll slow you down if you walk through it. Now there's more enemies on the screen, and the spread gun is being pretty useful over here. And taking a peek at the variables again, the cooldown, I guess it initializes every time I shoot. And let's see how this thing works. There's a small module for game ending on the right, and on the left we have a text variable named action, a speed, and a cooldown value initialized. Starting location starts the rest of the script when an upgrade is chosen. Here's the stats up thing. Okay, so you get more health, more speed, and more cooldown. There's a gravity-like cooldown thing over here. Target management by broadcast. The clicking conditional mechanic is pretty cool. I like the movement and the shooting. Although I think I might like to be a little bit more agile. This one looks a little bit weird to me when they're gonna have the same costume 5 times and then the next costume 5 times while moving. But when I was playing the game I didn't notice anything weird. Looking at this, looks like the button that was giving you the information. Click on a blank space to move. Yeah, these are the icons on the title screen. The buttons were pretty informative from the game. The script is pretty simple over here. And then here's the third button over here. I think my only thought over here is that while these are informative, I might have put them in one sprite so that it is a little bit easier to see everything at once. This over here is pretty interesting. It's a concatenated string function, which is a big computer word for its text with a variable inside of it. Over here in the target animation, everything is managed by broadcasts. Okay, so this is how we started the game, by choosing some kind of an upgrade and waiting. Yeah, so as soon as you pick an upgrade, the custom name is not going to be title. Over here we can see that the bullet rotation is because they're changing costumes, not because of something else like a rotating function. So these logic gates over here are how the programmer is slowing down the player's shooting actions. I see a lot of other coders putting in a wait function, but this is pretty interesting. It's like a custom wait function for a specific number of seconds. I think my only complaint with it is in the gameplay itself, it was difficult to gauge the effect of the cooldown. I don't think I would show it. I think I would just let the player kind of figure out what their feel for how their bullets will go. And by the way, the only time that the bullets will disappear is if they're touching the level 10 enemy, and I haven't even seen that one. And looking at the code for the randomization for the spawning location, I think I want to model this so we can see what it does, what it's actually outputting. And here's the code isolated so we can see what it does to scratch the cat. So when I click on it, it sends me to the 4 corners. But I wonder what would happen if I messed around with this equation a little bit. I wonder what would happen if I took out this 240 and I moved it to the multiplication thing, and I did a pick random between -1 and 1. There's one way to find out, that's to try it out. For a single liner, that's pretty good for the 4 corners, especially because a lot of other people randomize with a lot of gates, like you saw in my Asteroids game. Here's the boss on level 10. Pretty well done, combination of all the other enemies. I wonder why this is the only enemy that absorbs the bullets. Ooh, this boss has a randomized attack engine. Has some fearsome looking bullets. So it's like level 10 is a whole different world. It's like a whole separate game. Yeah, even this unique shield thing is only on the 10th level. I like this game a lot actually. I'm gonna try subbing in some art and seeing how that looks just for a remix, just to try out the concept. Thanks for watching everyone.